Hello and welcome to another video on the SQL series, and in today's video we are going to learn subqueries. So now what happens, we till now are writing down queries. Now sometime we write down a query inside query, or we call nested queries or subqueries. Now these queries, the result of these queries help us to get another set of results. And sometime what we can do is, instead of writing down multiple queries, we can write down a complex query using the subqueries and can get the desired results. So we have to understand the concept of subquery, and in today's video we will try to cover the where clause subquery and the from clause subquery, some examples of that, and then when we move forward, when we use the use cases, we will see more example coming on from there. So let's jump onto the SQL server. I have already started my SQL server from the services, and I have already opened SQL Server Management Studio, and here I'm going to right click on Learn SQL and I'm going to say use new query. So first of all, let's take an example, simple example. How can I use subquery? Let's say I write down a statement, select star from sales, where. Now I don't want to join it with the item table, but still I want to filter the item ID. So what I have item ID in my table. Now I want to filter, let's say, some item IDs. So for that, what I can do is I want to filter the item ID for brand one. So what I can do, select item underscore ID from item where brand equals to brand one. So first of all, let me execute the part of this query and see is it working. Select item ID from item where brand equal to brand one. Now it need to be in single quotes. In SQL we use single quote for the text. So let us see is it working. So I only select that particular portion and execute it. So it is working. There are only two item IDs with the brand one. Now what I need to do is select star from sales. Let's little bit do the formatting of this one, where item ID, and here what you have to do is you have to say in, and let's move it here again, from and where, and let's move the parenthesis also separately so that we can read it out. Fine. So what we are getting here is select item ID from item where brand equal to one. Only two item ID we got, and now I'm passing this into here where I'm saying where item ID in select item ID. So what I'm doing, in this case we have not created relationship. We'll come across cases where you cannot actually do it just by creating relationship, so you have to use subquery, but this is simple example. So this is my main query, the complete query, and inside this main query there is a subquery. Now why it is subquery? Because in the where clause I'm writing another query which is going to give us the results, and the result of this query is going to be used by the main query. Now it could be in the where clause, it could be in the from clause, it could be in the select clause also. We can have select clause from queries also, select clause subqueries also we can have. So we have this kind of query. Now there is something known as correlated subqueries in the select clause. Preferably we'll try to use that by trying to get certain additional data. So now we got this subquery. So now what we are going to do is, we know the result of the subquery is going to give item 17 and 39. Let's get the data of the brand one. So now you will see in the item ID we will only have item 17 and 39, and we will get all the data, and we got some 1200 rows, 1274 rows we got. So in this way we can get it. Let's take one more example. Here what we will try to do, let me copy paste this one, and we have another table. If you remember geography, where we have city ID. So what we are saying, bring in from the city ID from geography table where state equals to, let's try New York. First of all we have to see. So for New York, first of all, are we getting the city's ID or not? So state is New York. There are two city IDs we have for the New York, and let's now run the query, and here also it need to be city ID. So select star from sales where city ID in, select city ID from geography where state is New York. So now we got the data for New York using the subquery. Now this is very quick example of subquery. Now there is also known as something known as from clause subquery. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, this is where clause subquery. I'm going to change it into a from clause subquery. Let me give you example. So now same statement I'm going to bring in here, or let me write it down so that you understand it better. So I'm going to say home select from sales as s comma. This time what I'm going to do, so I'm going to say select city ID from geography. Now I put this into the from clause, and I can say either I can use it where, or I can say inner join. Now when I'm going to do inner join, what is going to happen, the city ID which I'm going to come from here, I'm going to do join with that. So city is inner join with that. So but it needs a name. So I said select. So what I'm going to do, select s dot star. I want to select everything from the s. So select s dot star from sales as s inner join. Now this inner join is a subquery. Now from clause subquery you have to give a alias. Okay. So I give a alias, let's say g on g dot city id equals to s dot city id. Now what is happening, from g we are only getting two cities now. So we are going to get two cities only from g, isn't it? And for those two cities we are doing an inner join. It means we are going to get only that much of data. Okay, so let's run this. So we say on this one, let's say are we going to get the data. So we got again 652 rows. Let's check how many rows we got here. We got 652 rows. Same way the other query we can also transform into the from clause. So let me transform this into the from clause subquery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this one. I say s dot, now there is no s right now, so we say s from sales, and we say inner join. And this time let me not do inner join, let me show you without inner join. So it's going to make the inner join because I'm going to use where clause. So I say s and I say I here, and then I say I dot item id equals to s dot item underscore id. Equal to sign is missing right now, that's why it is giving error. Okay, so what we are saying, select s dot star from sales, select item id from item where brand equals to 1, that is the subquery, from clause subquery. And this time I'm not using the inner join, I'm using the other way of inner join where we are using the from clause, and in the where clause we are going to give the filters. Now some database do allow you the outer join, like in Oracle we can use the plus sign to get the outer join inside the where clause. In other databases we prefer the ANSI SQL way of using inner join, left join, right join, we write down manually. And you can see 1274 rows. So both ways it is giving us the same data. And even if this case is very simple case, I could have actually simply go ahead and say brand one also as a filter by using the, like if I bring in this one. So let's try to get this result using simple two tables, because this is a simple query which we are writing. So I can say select s dot star from sales, and then I can say item I where I dot item id equal to s dot item id, that I can do, and I can have a filter for brand. See, in this case that is possible, and whenever it is possible like that, we are going to prefer that. Okay, so unnecessary use of subquery will not do, but there would be cases where you might not be able to use the simple case. So let's say I have certain brands. Now those brand has category 1, category 2. Now if I say you give me the data for all the brands which contain category 1 and category 2. Now I don't want to filter category 1 and category 2. I want to still filter the brands. Only want to filter the brands. But they should contain both category 1 and category 2. So what I want here is, let's first of all see. Select from item. First of all, how to know both the brands are contained. Okay. I don't want or. When I going to use the in clause, it's going to give me both one. Okay. So let me tell you, select star from item I where brand in brand 1 comma brand 2, isn't it? So we got brand 1 comma brand 2. Okay. Now what would happen here if I see this filter is not telling me which one is having the brand, both the brands. So is there a category where I have both the brands? Because so which is brand 1 and brand 2, I want category. Okay. So I want a brand where I have category 1 and category 2 both in. So let me say category 1 and category 2. So I want all the brands where I have both the categories. Now let's do the order by brand so that we understand. Now what is happening, even if you have category 1 it's going to come, even if you have category 2 it's going to come. Now if you can see, for category 1 and 2 both are available with 10, and then for 11 we have category 1, for 12 we have category 2, for 13 we have category 1 and 2. So how do I ensure both of them have it? Now if you remember, we learned a method of group by. So what I can say, item comma count distinct. So we are going to use now group by method, count distinct of categories, and I can say that is the cat count underscore cat underscore cnt count. Select item comma count distinct of category, where select brand actually. So select brand and count distinct of category, where category in this group by. Now what's happening? Group by the brand. Fine. Now let's see what result it gives. So now it gives 1 2 1 2 1 2. Now for 2 it is giving for 10, 2 it is giving for 13, 2 it is giving for 5, 2 it is giving for 8, 2 it is giving for 2. These are the brand which I need. So I can say having count distinct category. And remember, we have to take distinct category because it might repeat, is equals to 2, exactly equal to 2 that I need. Now these are the brand I want to filter out. I want to get this data of the sales. Now it is not possible. Now here, this is the query which is returning me the brands. Now these brands I have to use in my query. Now this is a case of perfect case of, subquery. So let's say, can we use this inside the subquery, because the subquery is self-contained, from clause, where clause, having everything is part of this one. So let's simply take this. Let's put this into a subquery. Fine. Let's give it a little bit of space here, and we say select star from sales as inner join, because I'm getting brand and brand is not available with me. So inner join item on I dot, where is I? There is no I right now. So we say I dot item ID equals to s dot item ID, where brand, I dot brand. If it contains both the tables, then I have to use I dot brand in this. Okay. And I can say s dot star. So select s dot start from sales, inner join on item, I dot item ID equals to s dot item ID, where brand in is this. Now what it is saying, only one expression can be specified in the select list when the subquery is not introduced with exist. Now I am getting two columns here. Okay. So I can't have two columns because only one column is taking in. So let's remove this column. Anyway, we don't need it. It's going to give the same result even if I execute it like this. See, it's giving me the same result. Fine. So we got 17,000 rows. Now, if you would have simply executed this result on the sales without, like, if you would have went here and said, okay, remember 17,020 rows we got. If I simply go ahead and here and I say where category ID equal to 1 and 2, First, this is not going to suit our requirement. Okay. Then I need star, so group by I can't use simply for this. So this is one of the good example where we have it. Now, can I convert this into a from clause subquery? Now, if I convert this into from clause subquery, it is actually going to give me brands. Then I can't join sales with the brands. So then what I have to do here is basically, if I want to keep it as is, so what is going to happen? If I want to do it as is, then I do need one more join, inner join, and let me call it B. So I have to join with item, and then I have to say on I dot brand. I'm not getting brand ID. I could have preferred bringing in brand ID. Now instead of brand, I could have bring in brand ID also here. Okay, that was a better choice because it's going to create integer join. I dot brand equal to B dot brand. And we don't need a where clause now. So now I converted this into a from clause subquery. And now let me run it. Select star 17,020. Now you can do little bit more play around and move this item itself into the subquery. From clause subquery. Why should I even have a subquery with the brand and then join with item? Then you can move this item join inside this one. So first brand becomes a subquery of item. So let's take one more example, and let's little bit complication more would happen. So now what we are going to do is we are going to say, okay, fine, this query is fine. We are further going to modify it. So now what I want is I actually want this subquery only, but so this subquery I can join with item table, isn't it? So let's construct select item underscore ID from item where brand in. We got the brands. Now it's a where clause, so I don't need alias. So I got all the items ID, 30 item ID, which is having these brands. Now, is it going to work or not? That we have to see still. Okay. Now this I can use. Now I have used where clause subquery. Now I plan to use this entire one as a subquery to another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say select star or s dot select s dot star, and now you know I'm going to create s as sales, sales as s, inner join. Now I can put this subquery, isn't it? In the parenthesis, because this subquery has item ID and item ID can be joined with sales table as I. So inner join home on I dot item ID equals to s dot item ID. Fine. Anything else we need? I don't think so. Let's try that out. We should expect 7,020 rows. That's correct. Now, so you've seen, now we have seen where clause subquery, we've seen from clause subquery, we combined the where clause and the from clause also in one subquery. Now, if you remember initially, when I was explaining the left join and right join and the full join, I created deficient tables. I said, okay, I don't have items above 50. I don't have sales below item 10. And then I was teaching you, how left join is going to bring in the data. Now with this subquery, it's pretty easy. So let's say select star from sales. Now I want to learn left join. So there should be everything from the left, something should be missing in the right table, isn't it? So, but we know our item table is not missing anything, isn't it? Left join. So we created the item 1, item 2. Now let me create that here for you. Select star from item where I'm writing down a from clause subquery now, where item underscore ID is less than or equal to 50. Now no need of creating table. I self created a table here. I created a deficient table here in the from clause subquery, and then I say on I dot item ID equals to s dot item underscore ID, and we are selecting both the tables. We want to see, the blank values, and s dot item ID, it's giving some error. Let's see what is the error, because there is no s here. See, aliases, if you are using aliases should be given. So select star from sales s left join. Now this is not the complete item table. This is item table which is less than 50. So let's go ahead and run that. Now you start seeing something here, blank. Look at this, 54, this 51, 51. So we were able to create now left join. No need of creating table. Same way, right join. What do you wanted in right join? You wanted the sales table to be deficient. So you should have said select star from sales where item underscore ID greater than 10. Something like that we have done, and we can call it as, we can have alias inside also, and that alias is not going to now. So we don't need a table sales here. So we say select star from sales s where item ID is greater than 10 s. We don't need this. So we can simply say item here. And we need a right join now. Even though the items are missing in the table, we want them to be coming in here. So select a star from s.sales where item ID is greater than 10. So only item greater than 10 is coming. There would be no item in the sales table which is less than 10. Now I'm doing a right join with the item table so that I get those item 1 to 10. If I scroll down, you will see this item 1 to 10 are coming here. Same way, if you needed a full outer join, we could have done that. We now bring in both these things, and we can say full join. Now both the tables are deficient, and you will see blanks coming on the item side, and blanks would be also be coming on the. So let me quickly scroll, keep eye on the blanks. At the last, blanks on this side. Blanks on this side is available, blanks on the left side, blanks on the right side. So we are able to create full join using these from clause subqueries. So go ahead and try where clause subqueries, from clause subqueries. We will continue to explore more such SQL concepts. So stay connected with this series. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you. Keep watching, keep asking questions in comments, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you can get notification for new videos. Thank you.